So hello everybody, welcome back. I hope that you like this video and that you find it helpful somehow. So anyway, grab your coffee, and if you wanted to share with me about it, links for that down below. And so this is the fourth and last video on the year that I lost about making a book out of the blue. The idea was to make it in about 1 hour or something, and it took me 4 hours. But actually, I had to think for about 2 hours more. So at the end, I made all of this in, no particular order whatsoever, in about 6 hours. And last video we ended up in the number 68, so now we're going to be doing 69. And again, this topic was to make 101 tips or ideas on how to save money, make money, or have a tip about managing time and money and something like that. So these are unusual. So yeah, here we go. Number 69 will be invest into your friends, family, and community, because obviously if you have friends and family and a community that is not in the proper level, as in it is lower than you, it's going to be a problem. If it is higher than you, then it's probably also going to be an issue for you. The reason being is that, okay, so if you have a lot of friends who have higher income than you, they will have a high tendency to say something like, every week we're going to go to a very fancy restaurant. And then you go, and so now you might be pressured or forced to go to the fancy restaurants. So now you're spending more money because they are higher than you. And in the other hand, if it's the opposite, as in you are the one who is always buying because nobody has money when they go out with you, then it's also a problem because you are supporting them, but they are not making anything. And so at this point, invest in them, meaning, okay, so you're going to tell your family and your friends, do you want to make a business? Do you want to create a company? Do you want to do this or do you want to do that? And how about we share the capital and something like that? And that way they will be enthusiastic about it, and you might end up being a partner with someone who is going to make a lot of money. This has happened a lot with people that believe in their friends, and it's like you give money to your friend 1, 2, 3, 4, 7, 8, 25, 29, 40 times, and then on the 41 they make it. And when they make it big. And now all of a sudden they come to you and they say something like, oh, you believed in me, so I'm making trillions now, so here is a villa and $1 million for it. Okay. And it's kind of like an idea. It will be also interesting because it will prove whether you actually want to invest in them or not. And even if you don't get return because they fail 99 times and they quit, it's still okay, because that way it's cheaper than you buying everything for them for free. And so it's important, because if you just give the money like, okay, let's just go out and drink, which is something that a lot of people do, then there is no return, there is no possibilities, there is no nothing. It's just you drinking. However, this you are sharing, but at the same time you might be investing. and it is interesting. And if you do this with your community, it's even more interesting. Now, try to imagine if all of your friends all of a sudden start making a lot of money and they just pull you up because of that. Now, 70 will be understand the effect on colors in your house, especially if you have children. So let me explain. It was proven, and it's insane, that if you have a baby and you have yellow colors in your walls, that baby is going to cry 40% more than babies that are in rooms that have different colors in the walls. And let me explain. If you have a baby girl, the color that she might want to have is blue. And if you have a baby boy, the color that you want to have is pink. And then you go, but girls are supposed to be pink and boys are supposed... Yeah, I'm sorry. Let me explain this. When you are talking about the point of view of the adult, not the baby. From the point of view for the baby, it was studied. You cannot prove it because you can't talk to a baby, but it was studied. And the hypothesis was proven because the statistical thing proved it. It's thought that girls want to have the blue color because blue is the sky. And girls have a high tendency to dream and to look at the sunsets and all the things that are in the sky, like clouds and all kinds of things like that. However, when boys are looking at things, they have a higher tendency, especially when they are kids, to look for things that make them feel nurtured. Because when you are a guy, you are attracted to nurturing type of energy, meaning the female energy, which is nurturing. And that color is associated with the pink. And so when you have the opposite colors, that being said, this means that the kids will feel better and they will cry less and they will sleep more. When you have a baby that sleeps more and doesn't cry that often, and at the same time they don't poo and peep and do all of these things more often because they are relaxed and they are growing healthy rather than interrupting the sleep all the time, which is going to affect their foundation later on, it's cheaper in the long term and even in the short term. Reason being, well, if you have a baby that it is crying 40% more than all the other babies in average because it's yellow, and the babies go, it's yellow, what the hell is this? Then you're not sleeping, nobody's sleeping, and on top of that is the kid might be sick more often, and there is a lot of things that are going on. And so when you're thinking about the colors, you also want to think about the age of the people that are in, and you also want to think about the mood of the things that you have within your house. So if you have everything in black and white, you might have a problem. If you have everything in one color and it's just one color and then the rest is just not even matching or whatever it is, it will have a problem. The reason being, well, it's going to affect your mind. And whatever affects your mind and whatever makes you moody and whatever affects your hormones and whatever, that's going to cost you money. One way or another way, it's going to cost you money. So it's going to also cost you time and health. So beware of the freaking colors in the walls because they can make a huge impact, especially when it comes to kids. And so the best colors will be, talking to them and talking to yourself and talking to other people about this thing. And don't do it just because it is fashion. If you do it because it is fashion, you miss the point. And it's going to be more expensive. And so, hell no. Do it because it works for you, depending upon the people that you have with you within your family, and depending upon the settings that you have within your family and things like this. And so it's important that you understand these ones. Um, let's see, 71. Understand your own level. Now, this one is extremely important. Number one, if you are a woman, learn to delegate. Because despite the fact that we can handle 40 types of energies at the same time, we are not proficient in all of them. And therefore, it's a problem if you tackle everything, which we as women have a high tendency to do that, is going to cost you your health, your relationship with others, and then you will be bitter later on because of that. So, hell no. And if you are a guy, you go, we don't need that. I can do it. And it's not that you don't delegate, it's just that, yeah, guys are kind of like, no, I can do it. So, girls is because they want to be in control, and men is kind of like, no, I'm too proud and I don't need anybody. So, no, hire people that you need. So, if you're thinking, I can do plumbing because I'm a man, and you ended up destroying the pipes. Okay, if the plumber was supposed to charge you $50, now they are going to probably charge you $4,000. Reason being, well, you destroy your house. So, no, if you have no idea what you're doing, then either hire a professional or get a friend who actually knows what they are doing and help you. Because that way, if you're going to screw up, like, pressing a hammer in there, your friend is going to tell you, hell no, not that one, the other one. Ah, okay. See what I mean? So, help when people ask you, like your friends, and vice versa. Ask for help. If not, hire a pro. If not, then let it be, because it's cheaper. And I'm going to tell you right now, the reason why 99% of people will not do work in their houses is not because they don't have the money. It's not because they cannot afford to have somebody who has a professional aspect to handle in these things, but because every time that you open up one thing in your house, it will go kind of like one of those Waka games that you go one and then two more will pop up, and then you have to smash them in the head and then two more will pop up. Well, that one will be kind of like that, what happens. And so if you have a budget that was 2,000, now the budget is 5,000. And so at this point, if you hire a professional, they might be able to tell you how to fix that thing, and it's not going to be 5,000, it's going to be 3,000 rather than the 2,000 that you already spent. And so understand this one, because if your pride is going to cost you $5,000 and your wife is going to be pissed at you for several weeks because you destroy the foundation of your house because you thought that handling a hammer was so cool and you could do it because you're a man, right? And if you're thinking, I can do it, I'm a woman and I don't need a man and blah blah blah, and then you destroy your own house, I don't know what to tell you. I mean, quite frankly, it's insane, but it is going to cost you money. So, cheaper, understand whether you can do it or not. And if you are not if you're not 90% certain, I will say 100, but there are things that are out of your control. So 90% certain, then don't hire somebody, okay? Because it's cheaper and it is going to save you a lot of headaches later on. 72 will be find free events that are nearby with community calendars, community maps, and other things like this one is easy. And especially this is going to be with friends. There is a lot of people that are kind of like, I had no idea that we had musicians that were making a free concert, but they are doing it. And so, yeah, there is a lot of people that go, there is a free concert in the mall today, let's go, so if you're not that type of person, then try to find a friend who is like that. There is people that are always into the know-how of these things. Otherwise, you will fill your own gap with money, meaning, okay, I found out a concert and now it's going to cost me $200. So it's not that it's bad for you to pay, but if you can go there for free, you will be supporting these free activities. Because if your government or your organization, whatever it is, they are doing these things for free and they are finding out that nobody goes, then they will cease to exist because nobody goes. And they're going to be kind of like, okay, so we as a government hire the musicians and only 3 people showed up. Then we're not doing it anymore. And so if people don't show up, even if you have the money to pay for these things, sometimes it is good to show up for the free things, not because they're free, but because otherwise they will stop being there, okay? And it is extremely important that you understand this one. Learn self-control, number 73. This one is just you learning to breathe, meaning, okay, so I have a situation, somebody bumped into me, or somebody said something nasty, or somebody just was going through there and they didn't say hello. Breathe, pause. Self-control means pause, breathe, pause, pause, and then again. Do it until you can think. Because if you don't learn self-control, this is what is going to happen. I have mentioned this before. There are several emotions that will make you stupid. Not even dumb, just plain and simply stupid. Anger is one of them. Anger will make you sharp, meaning it's an extremely good tool as an emotional tool for you handling things in a way that is precise. But if you do not know how to be precise, and if you have no clue whatsoever, as in what kind of tool to use when you're angry, as in whether it is your fist, your talking, or something else, then you are just going to be stupid. If you're stupid, it will cost you money. Plain and simple. So, cheaper, breathe, do it, not because the other party deserves it, not because whatever, because you are smart. No. Do it because if you don't, it's going to cost you money. And if it doesn't cost you money, it will cost you emotional health. And it will cost you time. And it will cost you possible relationships later on. It will cost you a lot if you do not know how to be precise. And being precise takes practice, but don't do it when you're an adult. If you didn't learn this when you were a kid, now it's a very bad time for you to try to learn. It's a horrible time. Just don't. The reason being, well, when you're a kid, you can get away with it. But if you're an adult and you lose control, you are not going to get away with it. And in fact, it might even land you into legal battles, and it will land you into a lot of other things, which are expensive. There are trillions and trillions and trillions of dollars, I want to say monthly, if not weekly, that are lost in the entire planet because people do not know how to pause and breathe. Think road rage, think accidents, think everything, and then add 3, 4, 5, even 7 zeros to that amount. That is roughly what you're talking about. So hell no. Self-control, cheaper, and it takes only 3 freaking breaths. Just breathe, pause, don't move, pause, breathe, pause, breathe, pause again. And then, now that your brain goes, what is going on? Because the second that you go pause, your brain goes, what happened? The second breath goes, oh, so that's what happened. And then your third brain goes, oh, I don't need to bother. See what I mean? So, breathe. This is extremely important. If your kindergarten teacher or your primary school teacher is not teaching your kids self-control, and if you are an adult and you do not teach this to your kids, know that this is going to cost you money later on, because when they are a teen, they will very likely lose it, and then you are paying the bill. So if you have kids, do it. If you are an adult, do it. Even pets, do it. Okay? Very, very, very important. 74. Learn your own temperament. Reason being, okay, so your temperament is perfect for being, a musician. And you never tried it and you didn't even know that you could do it. So you wasted your talent. Good. So now let me tell you something. 1 second about this one. Talent without development, or without you knowing that you have it, is like having a gold mine that is not being mined. So you have a bunch of gold, or a bunch of diamonds, or a bunch of things that you have there, and it's lying there. Nobody is accessing that. Reason being, well, you didn't know you had it. So, learn your own temperament. Now, this one you can do with Myers and Myers test, and I recommend that anyone in your family who is 10 years old or more have the test, and that's it. It has a 97% chance of being correct. Now, if you have a 97% chance of being correct, then why not? And then 75 will be learn family planning. Family planning is extremely important because when people are poor, or when people are uneducated, or people are naive or stuff like that. I mean, I'm going to tell you right now. There was a woman who had 9 abortions, and every single time that she went to have the abortion, it was insane, because she thought that the abortion was the same as a birth control. She thought that birth control was abortion. Now, if you have people who are in that level, and there is people that don't even know that having intercourse, as in having sex, gets you pregnant, regardless of who is on top, because there is a lot of people out there that go, if the woman is on top, then she won't get pregnant because gravity doesn't work. Don't need to tell you that that is expensive. And don't need to tell you that it's going to be a health problem. And don't need to tell you that it might be a legal problem. And don't need to tell, yeah. So cheaper and faster, learn family planning. Family planning meaning learn that sex can get you pregnant. There are condoms. There is the cycle for women when they have regular cycles. It could be used for that. And there is a lot of things that you can do. However, I'm not a doctor, so don't get me started in that thing. And if it was for me, I would recommend not getting the birth control pill, but rather get something else. And so, but it again, I'm not a doctor, so you gotta figure this one out on your own, because there is a lot of people that go, I will never teach my kids anything like that. And then you learn that your kid had an abortion and now there is nothing that you can do about it. So, no, this topic costs trillions in a monthly basis. Again, to a whole planet. So, very important topic. 76, go to a chiropractor. Obviously, you need a chiropractor so that you will never have pain and so that you can have a better life. It will be kind of like you going to a doctor, but this one is different. This one is just going to make sure that you don't develop pain all the freaking time. 77. Learn about signals from your body, from hydration, food, and nutrition and cravings. So it was studied and proven that 10% of your cravings is actually your body telling you, I'm thirsty. It's just that sometimes, like 1 in every 10, your brain goes, I'm sorry, what? I'm thirsty. Oh, so you're hungry, let's eat. So, if 1 in every 10 of your cravings could have been satisfied with just, a drink, but now you're eating, that's costing you money. You not understanding your cravings also means, okay, so you are craving chocolate, and then you go and try to eat chocolate or whatever it is. And then you keep craving chocolate or whatever it is, and it turns out that what you need is magnesium. So there is there are a lot of web pages that will tell you, if you're craving this, if you're craving milk, if you're craving water, if you're craving this, if you're craving that, if you're craving this, there is women that will even crave, will be kind of like, I want to eat dirt, as in earth, dirt, sand, stuff like that. Don't get me started. There is a reason for that. So have a list about cravings and what the hell do they mean, so that you can get the nutrition, and then that way you will stop craving and overeating, and that way it will be cheaper, because it's what you're craving is just magnesium, rather than you going around and filling your stomach and then overeating and then having a problem because you ate an entire chocolate cake and now you're feeling even guilty about it or whatever it is, when you could have just taken magnesium, and then your brain will go, oh, I already got the magnesium, thank you. It would have been better. So understand this one. 78. Reinforce doors properly with the X. This is because a lot of people go, oh, my house is safe because I reinforce the door. But the door doesn't have the X. And then when there is a problem, doors that do not have the X get jammed and get the X. as in the passing test. It's like, yep, out. So reinforce doors and frames properly, because otherwise it's going to cost you money, and it is going to cost you a lot of things later. Now, 79. Check the insurance and other policies that you have with any kind of documentation that you have, because if you don't, and then you have a problem, now you gotta check for lawyers, and now you're going to be ended up in lawsuits, and now you're going to end up spending money because you didn't read or because you didn't understand what the hell. And so, no. Check this one. And if you don't understand the language or whatever it is, then make a phone call and just ask this person, please give me a resume of my policy. Like, what does it cover? What does it not cover? Blah, blah, blah. And then have the recording with you. And then that way you can just listen to it. And it can even be used for a legal reference later. And ask all the questions that you have. There is no such a thing as a stupid question. There is you being, naive and don't ask something and just assume it. And then there are stupidity things that are happening that will lead to lawyers having a field day, which is going to cost you money. So hell no, don't do that. It's costly. Again, there are trillions of dollars spent on a monthly basis in the entire planet because people do not read the freaking insurance policies, and people do not understand the legal jabba jabba that the lawyers will pull up in your documentation. So basically, don't do that. Now, 80. Do practice exercises, but not like people say, go to the gym, run a marathon, blah, blah, blah. No, practice exercises as in, okay, so there is breathing exercises, then there is face exercises, then there is hand exercises, there are special exercises, and I would recommend that you do a test. There are a lot of web pages for this. Just do a test for your age and your gender, and then try to figure out whether you are average or lower from the average, or if you are above average. And then from that, figure this one out. Because let's say that you do the test, and in the test says that you suck because you don't have strength in your legs. Then the exercises that you want to do are for your leg, because everything else is okay. See what I mean? Because if you keep reinforcing the things that you are already good at, but you leave the other ones behind, the ones that are leaving you behind are the ones that are going to cost you money. So take the test. There are a lot of exercises that are like, I swear, those tests take less than 5 minutes, because my mom has taken them, and my mom says, take the test with me, and I'm like, okay. And so it turns out that I'm a little bit average or a little bit above average, but there are some things that I go, oh hell no, I can't do that one. And so understand your limitations, and when you have limitations, try to correct that one, because your limitations are also going to cost you money later on. 81. Take care of a pet and volunteer with pets, or do anything related with a pet. Reason being, okay, pets cost you money, but pets teach you responsibility. Pets teach you about dopamine and about a lot of things that will make you stay connected to life. And if you have a pet and this pet needs to go outside, then now you gotta keep routines. And then on top of that, it will be a nice reason for you to go outside even when you don't feel like it, which means that it will help you fight depression. It will also help you fight anxiety. It will also keep you in the immune system at, a lot of things, viruses and a lot of things that will be at bay when you have a pet, because your immune system will react better. Now, if you have a strong immune system, you are fighting depression, you are fighting anxiety, you are learning responsibility, you are also being connected to something else. And I am not talking about a pet as in a robot pet. That one doesn't count, because a robot pet does not produce dopamine, and is not about responsibility, and it is not about your immune system and all kinds of things. So no, is any kind of volunteer related to pet. If you are like, I can't have a pet because I live in an apartment, I don't want a pet because I don't want responsibility, blah, 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 then volunteer in a shelter that has animals, and that way you can get away with the same effects. And so if you don't want to have anything to do with pets, then try to get a garden or anything that it is alive other than other humans. So reason being, you need dopamine, you need the immune system, you need to fight depression, and you need to have the anxiety, anti-anxiety thing. 4 things. You can only get those not through other humans, but through other living beings. And most of the times, it will be your pet. Now, 82. Do volunteer work. But this one is different. This one is, for example, when you are a man, you can go and help kids that are fatherless. And we need you. I'm not going to explain this one. We need you, period. Or stuff like that. Volunteer work also means grandmothers and grandfather in geriatric centers. They need you. People in hospitals that are having their kids taking medication that you do not know whether they are going to be dead on you. They need help. There are billions of people that need help. And if you volunteer, not only will you be helping them, you will be helping yourself. Reason being is that, number one, you will feel useful. Now, if you feel useful, your brain will completely change how it works. And it will be operating on a whole new level. And in this whole new level, you will very likely experience what was described as the peace beyond any kind of knowledge, or beyond your understanding. And so breathe and pick any kind of volunteer work. It can be, I'm a teacher, so I'm teaching people. I'm a musician, so I go and play music in a geriatric center. I can sing. I can do whatever it is. I don't know what you can do. Hell, I think that you don't know what you can do. Because there is a lot of people that do not know that they can sing. And yet, somehow the opportunity presents itself, and then they go, oh, and then all of a sudden they are... It's like they're famous because they can sing beyond, like if they were angels. And they didn't know. But now they know because they were volunteering. And so there is a lot of volunteer work out there, and you can make a difference. If you can make a difference, it will be kind of like you saving the world. If your brain says, I am saving the world, what do you think your perspective is going to be when it comes to making money and everything else? It's just going to be kind of like a walk in the park, because you just saved the world. It's like you becoming Superman, and your brain will think that you're kind of like Superman because you just saved the world. And so go like that. 83. Go and contact nature through fresh air walks and things like that. Works without saying. If you are all the time in places that have air that is recycled and it is not clean, and things like this, it's going to cause you breathing problems. If it causes you breathing problems, it's going to cost you money. It's also going to make you sick more frequently and things like this. So get fresh air. You do not even need to go hiking or something like this. Just go and get fresh air. By the way, if you go and get fresh air where at certain times, like when peak traffic is going through, that's not fresh air. I don't care if you're doing exercises, that's even worse. It was proven that people that did exercises insane, like jogging, running, and all kinds of things, while there was a lot of traffic going on near the parks, yeah, they develop a lot of problems. Why? Well, you are opening your lungs more and you have a bunch of cars going through. That's not fresh air. Okay? I'm not saying go and contact nature because of nature and because it is exercising. No. Do it because you want fresh air. Fresh air, no high traffic hours. Because if you go there, I don't care if you have 1,000 trees near you. If you are near a car that is just contaminating everything, it's not fresh air. That doesn't count, okay? So, no. 84. Learn the difference between flu, cold, COVID, and infections, because if you don't understand these ones, then you don't know when to go to the doctor, and then you will also not know what to take or what not to take, and then you will also not know how long does it take to recover. The recovery time for a flu not the same as a cold, not the same as COVID, and not nearly the same as if it was an infection. So there are tables online that could tell you differences between cold, flu, COVID, and the other one, infections. And now you can say, okay, I have these, and these symptoms. So, okay, I have a flu. Okay, I have a cold. Okay. So now you know. And now that you know, okay, you go to the doctor if. You take this if. You do this if. And this is how long you're supposed to stay resting and things like this. And so, very, very, very important. Because if you don't follow that one, you're going to be relapsing. It's like a yo-yo effect. And if you relapse all the time, your body is going to take a toll. It's going to cost you more medicine, more money, more time. And it's going to cost you more money. 85. Use public transportation. And this one goes without saying. Because right now a lot of people I saw a video in which people go, okay, so now we're going to try to use a Ridery together. And there was somebody that was trying to explain, why do you need to call Ridery for the same route that you can get in a bus? And so, if you have to explain to people that you don't need to take a taxi or Ridery or whatever app it is that you're using for a car, but you could be using the bus for the same route or for a nearby route, and there are buses, and there is, and I'm going to tell you right now, public transportation is a problem because there is a lot of people that do not know how to use it. So for example, if there is a metro map, so you are in New York, London, whatever it is, and then you have a map and it has the roads, they are straight. So they go, this one is straight. That's not how it works if you were to overlap that one with the surface. And there is a lot of people that go, what do you mean? Well, you are going 5 stops here. You could have just stopped here, walk one block, and it was there. You just took that thing 5 blocks there, and then return for you crossing 1 block. Why did you miss this one? Because you're thinking that this map is the same as the street map. It's not. Or you are taking private taxis, ridery, whatever it is, rather than taking the bus because you don't understand this one. Or you don't know that this one you're supposed to pay for a fare in cash or get a card or blah blah blah. And if you are not used to this one, you are losing money and you're losing time. Therefore, you want to use public transportation, but you want to learn how to use it. In a lot of places there are time schedules. Most of the places in the rest of the entire planet, there is no such a thing as a timetable. So, for example, if in my country and even in Barbados, they will tell you, the bus goes here every half an hour, every certain time, and then that's it. But if it was in Japan or in England, it's like the bus is here this time, that's it. In England, you can give it 2 minutes early or 2 minutes before, So if the bus says 2:35, the bus can be there at 2:30, 2:30 something, or maybe 2:39. So it's roughly that time. In Japan, oh hell no, they will even tell you 2:35 with 20 seconds. 2:35 with 40 seconds. and yeah, that one goes by the second. And so public transportation doesn't work the same anywhere. And even in the same country, they might not even work the same way. So you need to learn about these things before you need them. Because if you don't know that it is there, or you're thinking, oh, I can just go there and pay with my cell phone, and then the bus is 25 cents, and you don't have a quarter. Okay, so that's going to cost you money if you do not know how things work. 86. Consider your place as an investment of a risk and whether you should move or not because of taxes and others. Now, this one works without saying that there is a lot of people that will do economic migration. My country is an example. If you cannot make money and you cannot work and you cannot do anything, then you leave. If you stay behind, you have to understand the consequences of that. And it's going to cost you money. If you stay behind, it's going to cost you a lot of more money. Because if people leave, it's going to be considered as an emergency problem. And emergencies will cost you money. And if you don't leave, but a lot of people are leaving, like I said, it's going to be a problem. And it's going to cost you money. And if you leave, it's also going to cost you money because you need documentation and you need a lot of things. But you need to understand whether that one will be worth it or not. Because if you're going to go to a place in which, okay, so I am making now $2,000, but living in that place is costing you $2,500. And you were in a place, let's say that, I don't know, you were in an Asian country or something like that, and in this Asian country you were making 400. So of course 400 doesn't compare to 2,000. But living in that place, it was costing you 410, or it was costing you 380. So you were actually making $20. But if you go to the place that you are going to be making 2,000, but you are losing 500 per month, not nearly the same as you losing $10 or you winning $20. You take a winning above any kind of losing. And so don't make this decision just based upon, okay, so I'm making more money there. No, make the proper comparison. The proper comparison meaning, okay, so here I'm making 2,000, but living in this particular place is going to cost me 1,000. Oh, okay. Living in this particular place is going to be around 2,800. So you're thinking for 400 to 2,000, you're thinking, oh, I'm going to be rich. And then there is a lot of problems because of that. And that is why a lot of people are thinking about leaving the United States and actually going to another place. And so it's because of the same thing. The American dream was, has always been, by the way, just like it was the Venezuelan dream. Because remember, the American dream is not the US only. It's the American continent from Canada to Argentina. And it was about you making a lot of money per month and having a nice living standard. But living standards is different for everyone. There is a lot of people that go, if I don't go once a week to a restaurant, then that's not living. And there is a lot of people that says, if I cannot travel within that place so that I can, have these things, not living. And there is a lot of people that will go, if that doesn't have a theater and doesn't have museums and cultural things, then it's not living. So it's your standard, your situation. But whatever it is going to cost you money. And it is a huge impact in terms of your income. And in terms of whether you are actually losing money. Because if you are losing money, $500 every single month, your debt is going to rise way more than bubbles in a champagne that you just opened. So, hell no. See what I mean? No, it's not about the money amount. It's about the cost that it is associated with that. Now, number 87 will be involve everyone in the chores, especially in your house. Because obviously, if you are the only one who is working, then you will be tired and it's going to cost you money. Now, 88. Use shared tours for your own area and your own tourism. This is insane, but you need. There is a tendency now that, okay, so if you ask 50 people on the street, do you know your own city? 40 people will tell you, name 4 places that you go to. That is not the restaurant. Then they go, they don't even know the name of the near park that they go to. So there is a now market for people that will go and take a bus, and then they will say, tourists for the locals. Meaning, I'm going to show you your own city. Why? Well, duh. Because you don't know your own city. And if you don't know your own city, then that is costing you money. And it is costing you a lot of other things. So either make that one or make sure that you understand whether this one is happening or not. 89. Share car rides for specific purposes like work and others, as in carpooling. But this carpooling should be done with people that you know and with specific security things that need to be taken into consideration, because if you're going to be doing carpooling with everybody, especially if you're a woman. So no. 90. Ride a bike or walk rather than using a car all the freaking time. Number 91. Invest in wood for retirement. So, You want to retire in 20 years. And guess how long it takes for a tree to give you a lot of wood? Do you know how much wood costs? Wood costs billions. Billions. If you plant 100 trees and you sell them 20 years from now, how much do you think that wood is going to cost you? And how much you can sell it for? It's going to cost you a little bit of time. It's going to cost you a little bit of piece of land, but it is going to give you enough money to retire, especially if you are in certain countries like Latin countries or Asian countries. If you are in Europe or in other countries, it's not going to be enough for retirement, but it is going to be an extremely good investment. And if it makes you $100,000, it's a lot of money. It will give you enough security for about a year or two, depending upon how much expenses you have, depending upon where you are and how much is your family. But it is certainly cheaper because all you need is water and time and a little bit of effort. How much does it take you to just water that thing once a week? So it is extremely good. There is a lot of people that are doing this thing. It is not, because if there is a fire in your area, okay, you lost it. But you didn't invest too much. You just invested a little bit of water at a time, that's it. So it's not extremely expensive or anything like that. And so it is a good plan, especially if you put it in perspective. 92. Learn about alkaline waters. And this one, oh my God, this is the cheapest, fastest way to work and be healthy when things go wrong. This one was done with our ancestors, and there are particular recipes for this one. You might not be able to find them, but alkaline waters that are specific for weathers, like for example winter or for summer or for rain or for whatever it is, the weather outside, are extremely beneficial, and they can make you money. If you know how to make them, they can make you money. And if you drink them, it will provide you with nutrition, and it will provide you with proper hydration, and it will save you insane amount of money in terms of you not feeling fatigue, you not getting sick, you not getting pain like headaches or heat strokes or whatever it is, and you not getting conditions like if you get a seizure because it was too hot and then you became heat stroke and then now you have seizures. Okay, so that's going to cost you a hell of a lot of money. But if you could have prevented that because you were taking alkaline water properly during your going outside, and you prevented that, so it's something that our ancestors did, and there is a reason for that. You want to learn about that topic. Now, 93. Learn about intuition, which will work different if you're a man, and obviously it will be way more effective and efficient if you are a woman. How many times have you go, oh, I wanted to do that, but I didn't, and now you lost the opportunity. Now you lost the thing. Now you get regrets. So that costs you money. So intuition, your best tool to get opportunities and avoid headaches and avoid problems and all kinds of things. And so learn about that. 94. Learn about light bulbs and the colors from the light bulbs and the effects of certain lamps and others in your house and in your work. Now this one is extremely important. The reason being is that there are a lot of lights and light bulbs if you have them in your house, okay, 9 out of 10, you are developing hormonal problems and you are developing metabolic problems. Now, if you have a metabolic problem and you have a hormone problem for your entire family, how much money are you talking about? So, learn, change the light bulb, put the proper light bulb. It doesn't matter if it is a little bit more expensive in your electrical bill or whatever it is, because you get to pick. It's either you paying a little bit of more electricity or you paying the health bill and the divorce bill, because every time that a woman has hormone problems and has metabolic problems and has sleeping problems, sounds like a divorce. So congratulations, you're now spending money on lawyers and all kinds of things because of that. So avoid risk. This is not worth it. Research, apply it properly in your house and at your job. And if they don't change it at your job or whatever, then tell them about it, because there is a lot of people that don't know these things. And there is also light therapy that can actually help you fix health problems. And there is people that will sell you these systems if you're willing, or if you are somebody that is interested in this, you can actually make a business out of this thing and actually make money out of it. 95. Have a list for things to be borrowed or things to be returned. Reason being, well, you are wondering where the hell is this thing, and then you are looking everywhere in your house, and it turns out that you lend it to your friend and they have not returned it. Or worse, you have things in your house that do not belong to you and you haven't returned them. That's costing you money. And it is going to cost you relationships if you don't keep this into a list. And because this is also important, because if you say, I return it to you, and then the person says, no, you didn't. Yes, I did. No, you didn't. I don't have it. And then you said, hey, I have here a list. It says, I return it to you this day on this condition at this hour. Oh, and I have proof because I wrote it down. Or you can say, I'm sorry, you're right, I haven't returned it. I don't know what it is, I will fix it. Okay? Oh, see what I mean? It will give you a sense of ethics, and that's going to make you money. And it is also going to keep you peace of mind, which is priceless. 96. Have a list of maintenance with these types, as in records and others. So there are 4 types of maintenance. I have mentioned this before. If you don't flip the mattresses when you are supposed to, then you gotta buy the mattress faster. So instead of the mattress lasting you 20 years or 10 years or whatever it is, now it's lasting you 3 years. Now, if you're going to buy one mattress once every 3 years or 4 years rather than once every decade, and that mattress is an investment because it is more than $500. 97. Organize the shared food once a week in your school or your job or whatever it is. Reason being, well, you want to learn recipes from other people. You want to help other people taste whatever it is that you like. And it will also give you a sense of community. So, for example, if in your school they have every Friday, everyone has to bring in a little bit of food and everybody eats the share, it will also be an issue for food poisoning if you eat 40 types of food that day. So, it will also teach you self-control. Because if you see 40 types of food, you're going to say, no, only this. No, only that. No, do this. And also, it will teach you about sharing, because if you are going to fill up your plate with 50 things, but you're going to throw away 40 of them. Everybody will see that you just put a bunch of food in your plate and now you're throwing it away. It will teach you how to share. It will teach you about self-control. It will teach you how to share things with others in terms of, okay, so everybody is putting a lot of food and then you only bring one kind of something. So it has its advantages and disadvantages, but it is better to have this than not having anything at all. 98. Learn about your feet type for your shoe, because otherwise you will have feet problem. I don't need to tell you that you having feet problem means it's going to cost you money. And it's also going to eat your shoe faster. And if you need to change your shoe once every quarter rather than once every 2 years, it's going to be insane, the amount of money that you're going to be spending in there. 99. Learn the level of involvement and apply it properly. Okay, so I have mentioned this before, there are people that should be professional, there are people that should be assistants, and then there is people that are helpers, and there is people that have personal skills that are unique. If you don't understand these 4 things, again, trillions of dollars per month in the worldwide economy. Reason being, okay, so you have a bunch of people that should have been working as helpers, but they are assistants. If an alien comes, they will be kind of like, how does that make any kind of sense? Or vice versa. There is a bunch of things that should have been done by a professional, and yet you hire an assistant. And then you're wondering why things got so wrong. Let me explain. Okay, so you are going to remove a tooth. That is a dentist, a professional. But you hire the assistant. Now the assistant removed the tooth. It turns out that you needed surgery. But the assistant didn't know because she has knowledge. She or he has knowledge, but not that technical. Now that thing that happened in your mouth is going to cost you $80,000, $100,000. You can't work. You are now in pain. You are spending God knows how much in medicine, and God knows how much you are enduring just so that you don't die of pain because you chose to hire an assistant rather than a professional. Now, if you don't understand this one, I'm going to try to explain this so that you get it. There are people that are unique. They are geniuses, they are whatever it is, but they are unique. These people are not into this category. Then there is, whatever it is that you are doing as a human being, you have 3 levels of this thing. So you are in a school, you are in a plane, you are in a house, you are whatever, in a human environment. There is people in there that are in charge. Those are professionals. If you are a professional, means that you have capacities, you have technical knowledge, you have academical knowledge, as in here this one, technical means experience, and it also means that you have certain background, but you have both experience and background, and this one is academic. So for example, if you are a doctor, you need to have these 3 things. You need to have the academic part, as in somebody says, okay, you graduated as a doctor. There is a peer review. Other people say you graduated as a doctor. And then there is you. And then there is you answering to a law or something that says, okay, legally, he gets to make the decision. So legally, he's in charge. So if you are in an operating room, the doctor is in charge, despite the fact that he's not the owner of the hospital. But in the operating room, he's in charge. He's the boss. Okay? So we have these three aspects of you being the professional. And then there is the assistant. The assistant is somebody that is a potential, as in not yet, potential professional, but not yet. So for example, if I want to become a doctor, I study. So while I am studying, I also need experience. So then I go and I have a doctor that supervises me and says, not that way. No, that's not how. No, yes, no, do, no, yeah, no, okay, no, fail, do it again, no, perfect, you pass, no, blah, blah, blah. And so you have feedback. At that point, you're kind of like a student or an assistant. So if a doctor is operating, you can be the assistant, or sometimes the assistant is somebody that already graduated, but they are specifically graduated for being an assistant. So for example, it can be that this doctor is so specific that he requires 50 tools to make the surgery. So he goes to the nurse, operating nurse, who is a specific type of assistant, and then he goes, I need that, this, that. That's it. Because if he's going to go to a student or something like that, the student might be kind of like, what is the name of that tool? Blah, blah, blah. They might not know it, and at this point, you lost the patient. And so there are times in which the assistant needs to be specific. When you hire assistants as professionals, okay, so do you think that the nurse can operate on you? The nurse is not the surgeon. She cannot be the surgeon no matter what. The student who is just learning cannot be your surgeon. Because there is too much at stake. And so there is a lot of people that will say, I'm a professional, to get the job. And then they will go kind of like, oh, I studied under that dentist for 3 years. I'm already a dentist because I was his assistant or her assistant for 3 years. I can do that. I can remove your tooth. Yeah, but that dentist work God knows how long, so that they could tell you, no, you need surgery, or no, I can do it. The assistant just learned, okay, how to do it. Assistants know how to do things. They are learning how. Professionals know when, what not to do, which is extremely important because that way they can avoid problems. And they also know when and what specifically. Assistants, on the other hand, helpers, have nothing to do with whatever it is that you're doing, but you need them. Let me explain. Okay, so you go to a hospital. Question, are you going to see the nurses, the paramedics, or I don't know, or even the surgeons cleaning? No, they are called the helpers. The helpers are supposed to be they do half of your job, and you cannot do your job without the helpers. You just can't, period. You can't have a hospital if you don't have cleaning services, if you don't have supply services, if you don't have somebody that is making the machines, somebody who is the the technicians for the machines. If somebody is handling the bill, somebody who is handling the patients, somebody who is handling the priests and all of the other religion personnel that it is supposed to be there, because you are dealing with people who are insane and things like this. And so no, hell no. They are called helpers. Anything that it is in the side is called helpers. They are supporting the main job. The main job, dealing with the patient. But the background, okay, the hospital has to be clean. It has to have all kinds of machinery. The machinery has to be on check. There has to be a billing department. There has to be insurance department. There have to be this and this and this and this and this and this and that. Usually, one profession or one specific point will handle anywhere from 120 to 6,000 helpers, especially the bigger ones. So for example, when you're dealing with a plane, so the professional will be the pilot, but you're not thinking the airplane, the engineers, the airport, the people that it is supposed to, the flight crew, then the replacement crew, the fuel crew, the blah blah blah. And that one, when you add up, for you to take one plane, you need at least 600 people 600 people in your side so that you can take one freaking plane, one professional. So if you don't understand this, it's going to cost you money. Reason being, well, okay, so you have decided there is and by the way, at this point, a lot of people will go and say, I am a professional. And just like there is a problem with fake food, there is a problem with fake professionals. No, they are assistants or they are helpers. They are not professionals. And at this point, if you want to understand the differences, then you go to the college or the main national association for that particular profession. So for example, if you're looking for an architect, you go to the architect college in your country. And then they will tell you who the hell actually did graduate as an architect. Because a lot of people go, oh, I'm an architect because I can draw houses. And there is a lot of people that go, I'm in construction, so I am a master, the master supervisor guy. I can do it. At this point, I'm going to tell you, most people that are helpers are kind of okay with being helpers. But whenever you have assistants, these people are the envy in this area is beyond insane. Beyond insane. The probability of you having people that are faking their professionalism or they are scamming people is insane. Insane. So, to avoid that, call the National Association. If the National Association doesn't exist, then call somebody that you know that this is professional and tell them, hey, where the hell is the National Association for this? Because otherwise, because you see, if somebody knows how to fix a car, they will go, I'm a mechanic. No, you're not. You just know how to fix a car. That does not make you a mechanic. Okay, I know first aid. That does not make you a doctor. I know that does not make you a professional. But that does not even make you an assistant. A lot of the times, there are things that are so specific that if you don't understand this one, lawyers are having a field day every single day with this thing, and it's costing trillions to everyday people like you and me. So, number 100, use memory, USB stickers, and drivers, especially for things in your cell phone, rather than store everything online. Now, when you store things online, it's going to cost you money per month. So I don't care if it is $1, $2, $3. You're thinking it's cheap. Okay. Problem. You stop paying. Okay, so now you lost everything. It was yours, but you lost it. And how much does it cost you to keep it for yourself? 30, 40, 50. 50, and it is yours. 50 one time, 2 or 3 or 5 per month. Much, and it is not yours. A lot of the times the ideal will be that you can have access to both. But if not, understand this one, because if you didn't pay for whatever reason, you're losing everything because you didn't pay one time. That has happened to a lot of people. And number 101, which is Finnish, is learn how to read labels for food, clothing, shoes, medicine, etc. Now, if you don't understand how to read the shoe labels, and then you go, do you mean shoe labels? Yes, shoes have labels. The shoe labels will tell you when the shoe was manufactured, whether it had this size. It will tell you a lot of things. If you know that this material is supposed to be last for 2 or 3 years, and this shoe was made 3 years ago, this means that when you buy it, despite the fact that it looks new and everything, it will very likely tear within 6 months. Why? The materials are not there. Why? Because the label told you, but you didn't know how to read it. Food, the same. Clothing, the same. Medicine, the same. If you don't know how to read labels, there is a reason why there are labels. If you don't understand how to read labels in your clothing, you will probably ruin them, because you're supposed to wash them with warm clothing, the same color or something like this, and then you put it with cold water, and now the fabric will not last you, or it will not have the same colors, because you use the wrong temperature, the wrong detergent, or the wrong method. Why? Well, because it is fabric. And so the labels will tell you how to take care of things, when it was made, the ingredients, the nutrition, and there is a lot of things that will go into those labels. And if people, the manufacturers, did not need you to know these things, because it's the same for everybody, or it doesn't matter, then they will not bother to tell you. But there is a lot of people, there is a hell of a lot of people out there that will fight to their teeth, they fight to their nails with the manufacturers so that they will put things on label. And why do you think that is? Because a lot of people that understand that they are being scammed, or they understand that this is important information because it is important to make better decisions so that they can save money in the long term, or because of safety problems, or because of health problems, or because of nutrition problems, or because of whatever problems, or because you're affecting other people. So for example, if you don't have proper label for the laundry machines, then the laundry machines will be ruining the clothing, and then the clothing manufacturer will be kind of like, it's your fault. Why? Well, because you didn't read the label. You didn't read how to clean it properly. See what I mean? So it's not my fault. I'm not providing a bad product. It's you. You are screwing things up. Or the laundry machine people are screwing things up. See what I mean? And so when there are more than two industries together, there is a lot of people that will fight to their teeth so that they can make sure that, nope, if something goes wrong, somebody has to pay the bill. And it's important that you understand this one. Because if not, it's going to cost you money. And so anyway, that was it. And yeah, nearly 5 hours of video. And add a couple of hours while I was just drinking coffee and trying to think. So, well, at least it didn't take me a full day to do this thing. So, thank you for staying tuned. See you again soon.